What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Nxtgen 720, and I'm back with another video. And I hate to be the joker to say I told you so, but I told you so. As far as the Wii U, and not being, but hold on, about them putting a next generation console that really doesn't support next generation engines. So, but check it out. It says here that the Unreal Engine 4 updated for the Xbox One, PS4, but no Wii U support. It says today the first major update to Unreal Engine 4 was announced by Epic Games, bringing support for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Aside from those two, support for Linux, Valve, Steam OS, yada yada yada. There was no support for the Wii U announced for the update, which means any games in the future that use the Unreal Engine 4 will probably be skipping the Wii U. This is a pretty big blow that will affect the Wii U games in the future, since several large studios use Unreal Engine to power their games. Now, again, and like this is crazy as hell. And listen, whether you're a Nintendo fan or whatever type of fan you are, just sit back and listen to what listen. No, just not me trolling. This is some real shit here. Why when I always say that you guys that Nintendo really needs to get new blood there. They put out a console right in 2012, right, and again, even though whether Microsoft or Sony may have been holding their cards close to their chest as far as the specs of their consoles. But, they're in the industry, just like we heard rumors all these leaks, I'm quite sure Nintendo heard them too. And for them to make their console so anemic, and according to them, they said, the days of them being left behind was no more. So you just look at all the and again, you say that third party support is not important. Some of you Nintendo guys, you make, believe in his head it's not important. Again, you get exclusives every 2 to 3 months, right? You get multi-plats every Tuesday. Look at all these great games that are going to come out, now in the future that are going to use the Unreal Engine 4. But not even so much the Unreal Engine 4. The Snowdrop engine and all the different next generation engines that can't run on the Wii U. So you got all these great games that are coming out that won't be on this platform. Now again, say if you are a gamer, we're not, you can't afford to. You may be a Nintendo fan, and you can't afford to have a secondary console. You only can afford one console because some people just have one console. So you won't get to play any of those great games on your platform. And before you go out, just say, what? It's a conspiracy. Third party got it out against Nintendo. Bullshit. You know, it's like sometimes you got to sit. Stop always saying "whoa me." Like I don't like the industry just got it out for that. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You know, like you look at it like this. Bethesda said, they have no plans on working with Nintendo. This is an old article. He said both Microsoft and Sony sat down with different publishers and say, hey, developers say, hey, this is what we're making. You know, we like your guys' input. Nintendo said, fuck that. This is what it is. You make your games if you don't work on this. If you can't, so be fuck it. And there's no like this, like I said in the day, like there's no secret. Maybe a reason why, like they said, their sales are suffering. Like that's just being honest. And I know some of you Nintendo fans will come out. Well, you don't care about third party. You don't buy a Nintendo platform for that's bullshit. Where does that logic come from? I remember the days of the NES and the fucking Super Nintendo. They had all the fucking third party support. Maybe you guys may not remember that, but I do. You know what I mean? I do. They had all the Final Fight, Street Fighters, and fucking Contra, Castlevania. All those great games. Started out on the Nintendo platforms. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Like this, like end of the day, this really is like I used to watch. Damn, they put out a next generation engine, a console. They can't run the next generation engine. Here you have Ubisoft with their new Infinity whatever engine that they can't run on the Wii U. And you believe, like Unreal Engine 3 was big this generation. That engine was huge. We got so many games even now that use the Unreal Engine 3. And like I said, next year, 2000, I think it's next year, 2000, all these newer games are going to use Unreal Engine, I believe Fable Legend uses Unreal Engine 4 too. But all these great games we don't even know about, they're gonna use the Unreal Engine 4, the Snowdrop engine, and all this shit right here. And none of those games are coming to the Wii U. Now, as a Nintendo fan, I will be livid. You know what I mean? If I had, if I chose I chose Nintendo, to spend my money, bought and buy this $300 goddamn machine, and I'm not gonna get, but how many times you play fucking Mario? I'm just being real. And I'm not, listen again, I'm not taking a shot at anybody. I'm not, I'm just being, this is what you call, this is a sense of, I'm having, I'm just being honest. Like, and again, and I want you, I'm gonna read your guys' comment. And if you choose to answer sensibly, I'm just talking about the real Nintendo fans. You know what I mean? Like this right here is what I've been talking about. Yes, I may have trolled the fuck out of Nintendo in the past, but I'm just being honest. All this whole little movement and shit that Shokio talking about, this Project this and Pretendo. I've been saying that shit since day one since I bought me a fucking Wii U. Like how the fuck can they put on a console without voice chat? And you know what all these guys now just talking about, Nintendo. They told me then, well, Nintendo can do it with an update. It shouldn't be a fucking update. You put out a console in 2012 that can't do the basic shit that my original Xbox did in 2002. I mean, keep tracks of your wins, your losses, party chat and all this stuff. Like, next gen comment, you overreacted, man. Nintendo can do it in the update. Like, what the fuck? I'll call people like that's it's funny as hell. It's going to be some of you now that's going to spin this and going to damage control this shit here. And say, well, we don't, the Unreal Engine 4 is so just that and the other. Like, I remember when they announced the Unreal Engine 4, I believe it was last year, and they said, it was going to run the Xbox, running in the PS4 and that, whatever. And there was no mention of it. And Mark Rain said, well, no, the Unreal Engine 3 is for the Wii U, right? And you had Trey and everybody saying, well, they could do it, or, we couldn't do it if they just scale it down. Why the fuck do they have to scale this engine down? Don't get me wrong. The 360 and the PS3, they didn't utilize the whole Unreal Engine 3. But I'm set up to say this, but if they had to take things from the Unreal Engine 4, that makes it the Unreal Engine 4, why put this shit on the platform? I'm just being real. I'm just being and honestly, it's not really like the third party like the attach rate for our software sales for the Wii U is horrible any goddamn way. So you want developers to go out of their way, tailor make an engine or a game, or if we support it, put it on the Wii U, and you motherfuckers ain't gonna go out there and support it anyway. That's what I don't understand either. You guys cry about third party support, and when you get these games, you don't put your dollar where your mouth is. You don't. Injustice of gods. Sold fucking 20,000 copies for the month when it launched. Now, they said they just announced already yesterday that Injustice of Gods, Part 2 will be out in next year, 2015. That's not coming to the Wii U. You know what I mean? It's being real. They announced already that the jokers that do Mortal Kombat and all that shit. I don't know who's gonna do the Injustice, but they're already at work on Mortal Kombat 10, only for next generation consoles. That's not coming to the Wii U. Like, god damn, you know what I mean? Like I said again, Nintendo, they're gonna have to put out another console. Cause this being real, like I understand you may have some exclusives to come out. They just announced Fatal Frame. Okay, fine, it's exclusive for the Wii U. But like I said, you get exclusives every 2 to 3 months. So you got all these great games that are gonna come out from now until the end of 2015. All these great multi-plat games. Even the ones that come out, this Evil Within, The Witcher 3. It's still to be seen about Watch Dogs. The verdict's still out about that. But all these great games, the new Assassin's Creed game, and all this shit. None of those great games are coming to the Wii U, and it's like, god damn, I'm just being real. Like that's fucked up, though. You know what I mean? And I blame Nintendo, man. Like, god damn, what the fuck happened to Nintendo, man? But anyway, this is your boy Nxtgen 720. I'm out of here.